everyone, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Ryan Sutfield.
That's fucking right. And hey, listen, if you're new to this show, welcome. Hopefully I didn't scare you off too badly with that loud intro. But what we do in this show is we'll take a movie coming out on the weekend, and we will make a list according to that movie or another movie coming out that weekend, with a top 5 specific of a director, actor, genre, what have you. And we'll have a top 5 list according to whatever topic we come up with. And the cool thing about the show is that it's live, and we have no idea what the hell's going to come out of our mouths, and we don't know each other's list. So, Brian, before we get into our topic, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you, man?
Oh, it's April Fool's Day on the day of this recording, so this show actually does not exist. This whole show never existed. It was just one giant long prank. I apologize. So, I'm doing just fine. Just another week. It's kind of it's one of those weeks for this show, but I'll explain myself in just a second. But Brian, what are we covering this week?
Music biopics in honor of Miles Ahead, the Miles Davis biopic.
What's really funny is that was one of the movies I was supposed to see at South by, but I did not because the second weekend I went back, it was St. Patty's Day. The music part of South by was kicking up, and it was downtown Austin on Saturday. Oh, fuck no. I'm not going to downtown to watch movies, so I stay on the outskirts of town, and I actually watched another biopic, which I will discuss at South by because I thought that one was really good, and whenever that comes out, you should go see it. But for musical biopics, I got to be honest, I've only seen 2 of them. Yeah, that's right. Only 2 of them. So the way I'm going to work this week is that I got 5 suggestions. 3 of them don't even really count as like musical biopics, but they're so weird that if you've never heard of it, then maybe I can help you with a suggestion. But other than that, Brian's going to basically take over this whole entire episode because I don't have much. And I can BS with 5 choices on this show any day of the week. If I've only seen 5 in a certain category, I've only seen 2. So I can't BS on this week. So I will have suggestions, but I won't have a definitive list. But Brian will, and we'll just go from there. So, Brian, when you think of a musical biopic, what do you think of? Do you look for, like a cradle to grave type of story, or do you look for a specific moment in their life? Like, which one do you like the most?
First.
So you actually like from, birth to death?
Pretty much.
Okay. I'm okay with like certain points of their career and whatnot because it depends on what point. Like if it's just some random point of them not really doing anything for 3 years of a band or a musical artist or whatever, then there's no fucking point. But if there's like some significance to how their character grows or it changes the course of their career, then I'm all for that and stuff. So because Miles Ahead, just to let you guys know, it is not a cradle to grave story. It is a specific moment in Miles Davis's life, and so that might kind of turn some people off. But I've heard pretty good things, pretty decent things, and I barely missed it. But I saw another musical biopic that I will mention on this show. So without further ado, let's get this started. But if you are watching on YouTube and you want an audio only version of this podcast, link will be in the description below. And if you're watching on Spreaker or listening on Spreaker and you want a video version, then link will be in the description below for you. So let's get this started. Let's go to number 5. So, Brian, what do you have as your number 5 favorite musical biopic of all time?
My number 5 is the Tina Turner biopic, What's Love Got to Do with It?
Okay. Is that the one with Lawrence Fishburne?
Yes.
Okay, so describe to me and the people listening out there, who's that? Obviously we know who it focuses on, but like, what's the movie like and stuff, and just your overall thoughts.
See, I haven't seen it in forever. Like I told you before, these bottom 2 I just haven't seen like years, so it's hard for me to kind of remember them. But I remember liking these 2 very much. What I like about this mainly is the back and forth between Lawrence Fishburne as Ike and Angela Bassett as Tina Turner. It's an abusive relationship. It's something we typically see in biopics, but because of the emotional core of these 2 people, it's really well done, and that's why I think it's such a well-crafted biopic. I'm not the biggest fan or most knowledgeable person when it comes to Tina Turner's music. I know who she is, of course. I know some of her music. I can't think of any on the top of my head. But, I mean, for someone like Angela Bassett to play this character, she pulled it off very well. And I think she's a very remarkable actress. You watch her on TV shows and movies and stuff. She was just on American Horror Story. And Lawrence Fishburne's a big deal. So, I mean, these two together, it's kind of a dope experience. They later reunited in The Kill and the Bee, which I think is a very overlooked film, in my opinion it is. And, yeah, what's love got to do with it? If you love music biopics, this is one that's definitely meant to be checked out. And, like I said, I haven't seen it forever, so I can't really talk about that much. But from what I remember, it was pretty good.
What do you remember what year that was? I'm looking it up right now.
1993. I remember the year that Lawrence Fishburne was nominated. Tom Hanks won for Philadelphia. So yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, if the synopsis doesn't grab you, I don't know what does. The story of singer Tina Turner's rise to stardom and how she gained the courage to break free from her abusive husband Ike Turner. Listen, abuse is never right. Abuse is always wrong, and people that commit abuse, sexual or physical or emotional, should be castrated and thrown into a giant cell with a bunch of other assaulters. But with that being said, it does provide good drama. And when this actually happened in her life and stuff, it will, you can kind of like grasp onto it because it's like, oh, this actually happened. Like, I want to see how this kind of unfolds and stuff. And it's just, it's just one of those stories where it's like, oh man, like, stop being abused by this person. You can let go, but it's not that easy. And I'm sure this movie definitely tackles those situations. So, all right. So my first suggestion. So there's, remember, no number 5, just a suggestion. This is not a biopic by any standards. But if you want to watch like a weird movie of a specific actor trying to start a rap career and totally troll everyone, and it's shot in a documentary style, then I think you'll enjoy it. Brian, did you ever see I'm Still Here with Joaquin Phoenix?
Is that the one that was made by Casey Affleck?
Yep.
I have not seen it.
I watched it in theaters, and when you're watching the movie, Joaquin Phoenix is so convincing as a guy that wants to quit acting and become a rapper. You believe it, but it's like it's all a ruse and stuff. And I remember when he went on Letterman, and Letterman's like, he made that Unabomber joke and stuff, and like I was just like, dude, Joaquin, what's happened to you? But in all reality, it was just all a stunt. But it was, like I said, really convincing that this guy wanted to become this rap artist, and like he actually tried in the movie and stuff, and he actually rapped in front of crowds. And he was awful. But you're sitting there as an audience member, you're like, why would he do this? Like I don't know, but I can tell you it's very entertaining and it's something different. So it's like a fake biopic documentary style. I mean, come on. And it's got Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, hell, when you look at the poster of it, I mean, he's got like that giant like bird's nest of a beard and like long flowing like hair that looks like he rubbed it in like mud or something. Like, you're already interested. And like, I think this movie came out like a couple years after Walk the Line. So yeah, which I'm sure we'll get to a little bit later in this episode. But that is my first suggestion. Is I'm Still Here. Not a biopic. But if you want to watch a fake one, then I suggest that one. So, Brian, do you have any interest in watching that?
Sure. It sounds like a weird movie. It sounds weird, but it sounds pretty silly and entertaining. I actually am curious to see it if I get around to.
Like, I know that you're 8 years younger than me, but do you remember that Letterman interview that he did with him? No,
I do not.
Okay.
When was this? When was this? When did this movie come out?
2007 or 6. And I think the interview.
I was still in elementary school then. I didn't watch late night television, so I mean,
I don't know if you've seen the clip or not. Like,
I haven't. If it's still on YouTube, I'll check it out. I feel like I have to now.
You have to. So just search Joaquin Phoenix, rapper David Letterman, and you'll find the interview where he basically rips on Joaquin. You think it's real. But towards the very end, you can kind of see Joaquin smile a little bit, and you're like, oh, I think he just broke character. So as a guy that's as crazy he is and as crazy of good an actor he is, dude, he was committed for this whole entire stint, and I got to give him props for it. So that would be my suggestion for the first one. So let's jump into number 4. Brian, take it away.
Like I said before, this is my number 5 for films I haven't seen in ages. I'm going with the Buddy Holly story, where Gary Busey was not a psychopath then, and now, you know, he's what he is now. The Buddy Holly story. The guy was a very interesting person, and he was very creative and stuff. This took place in the 50s, which is a time where a lot of musical biopics like to take place, the 50s, 60s, all that jazz. And Buddy Holly was a very influential person. Gary Busey received an Oscar nomination for this, which is very shocking because when you look at Gary Busey now, you're like, how was this guy an Oscar nominee? Well, he was a good actor back then. And
back then.
But Buddy Holly, interesting dude, looked a lot like him if you saw the film. And yeah, I liked it. I remember watching it in 8th grade music class, and I remember digging it, but I haven't seen it since then. So it's been 4 years, so I can't really give a full review on it. So I mean, yeah, Buddy Holly story, my number 4. See, this isn't really the most exciting excited list today, people. We apologize. We really do.
Well, I mean, I'm looking it up, and like this, I actually do want to see it. Like, so it was nominated for Best Sound, Best Actor in a Leading Role, and it won for Best Music Original Score, which is kind of cool. But the synopsis is it's the ultimate biopic. It is basically the story of the life and career of Buddy Holly, and it says all the way into his death. And so it looks like this is a definitive biopic from the cradle to grave. The poster looks cool and stuff. Gary Busey is a serious actor playing Buddy Holly. Come on. So yeah, it sounds really interesting. So I'll have to definitely check it out. I've never heard of it, and it says here it was made in '78. So this is an oldie but a goodie, according to Brian. So yeah, I gotta check it out someday. So my number 4 suggestion. I also saw this in theaters. Now, I'm going to be up front with you guys. I've never seen Walk the Line, which is shocking because I love me some Joaquin Phoenix, and you figure I have already seen everything with him in it. Not true. I never saw Walk the Line. However, I did see the spoof on Walk the Line, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story with John C. Reilly. If it's not my favorite Judd Apatow production, but I will say it's entertaining. And John C. Reilly, the performance is just insane because he's the same age throughout the entire thing. But yeah, it starts out with him as like a teenager all the way up until like when he's super old. And like I've never seen Walk the Line, but I just assumed by watching Walk Hard that was pretty much the same structure as Walk the Line and stuff. And I was laughing. John C. Reilly, he looks like a country singer. I don't know what that means for people that listen to country. I apologize. But he looks like a country music. He kind of looks like oh my God, what's his name? Oh God. Brian, what's his name? It's like Lyle something.
I don't know. Wait, are you talking about a country singer?
Yeah.
I'm not well-rounded with country. That ain't my shit.
Okay, hold
on.
on.
About the same stuff. I'm sorry, country listeners, but it's all about rivers and homes and farms and bars and stuff. I don't know. That's all country people talk about, and they all sound the same. Male country singers, female country singers, they all sound different, but males are like,
okay,
they all sound the same. I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
That's his name. Is Lyle Lovett. Yeah,
I have no clue who that is.
He was in The New Guy, and I remember him in that movie, and so he kind of looks like Lyle Lovett, who also dabbled in music. But yeah, Brian's right. I'm not into country music either. It's not my thing. However, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, is a very entertaining movie, and it's got one of the most longest scenes of a limp dick penis on screen, and it doesn't cut away. There's a scene, there's a shot where there is a dick on screen and it literally just sits there for like 45 seconds to a minute, and it is one of the most kind of uncomfortable shots composed in a comedy. But like I said, I think John C. Reilly's performance and stuff, it's so crazy and out there. And like I said, he plays the same age throughout the entire movie, which makes it even funnier. I really like it. It's a pretty entertaining comedy. Not one of my favorite Judd Apatow produced movies, but it's still up there. I think it's directed by, I'm gonna see if I know without pulling it up. I think it's directed by Jake Kasdan, who did was it Bad Teacher and Sex Tape? Gross. But I would suggest Walk Hard. So that would be my fourth suggestion. Brian, did you ever see Walk Hard?
Sadly, no.
What's wrong?
I have not seen it, sadly.
So basically you've seen Walk the Line, but you haven't seen Walk Hard.
I'm sorry. It's a hard movie to find, honestly. That one is not easy to find. It's never on TV. It's not even at my job. I can't find that movie anywhere. I'm being serious.
I mean, it's not that. I mean, 2007 here. I'm looking at. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's like too hard to find, but yeah, it's written. It's actually co-written by Judd Apatow. It's produced by stuff, but it is directed by and co-written by Jake Kasdan, who did I Was Right, Bad Teacher, and Sex Tape. And he's also done several episodes of New Girl. So besides Walk Hard, that would be the second best thing he's done. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen Walk Hard, I suggest it. It's entertaining. I saw it in theaters, by the way. So because I had no idea what to expect. I was like, ooh, Judd Apatow. And you got to keep in mind, this is 2007. So this was right after Knocked Up. And this was like, I think literally like 2 months before Superbad came out. So this was kind of like in the early stages of Judd Apatow's kind of producing and directing and writing reign back in the early 2000s ish. Yeah, because it started like in 2004 onward. So yeah, so let's move on to number 3. Brian, what is it?
I'm going with something that's recent. I'm going with Straight Outta Compton.
Okay, so that is one of my suggestions, so we can talk about it together.
Cool. You start first.
Out of all the suggestions that I have, I've only seen 2 biopics. This is one of them. But I loved it so much that I bought it on Blu-ray, and I never regretted it. Watched the director's cut. I didn't find any. I only found like 1 or 2 new scenes, so I don't know where the hell that extra 20 minutes came from, but whatever, it flies by. This is a really, really good movie of a band or a rap group that changed the game back in the day. Now, Brian was not born when any of this happened, and neither was I. NWA started forming around in the late 80s, early 90s, and I was born in 1990, so I was born like probably in the middle of their power in the rap world. So I never really grew up with them as a kid, but like when I started listening to Eminem and stuff, I started listening to older stuff like Notorious B.I.G., NWA, got some Tupac in there. So I started listening to the older stuff when I got into Eminem, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But Straight Outta Compton, it's well acted, it's well constructed. There's a lot of cool scenes where you're like, you just want to like root for these guys and stuff. And I worked for the police department. When I was sitting in the theater, I was singing "Fuck the Police," and it's just good music. It's relevant music, especially of today. Like, are you kidding me? With all the issues we have going on today with the cops and police brutality and stuff, it's amazing still. I'm 26, so like 26, 27, 30 years later, we're still dealing with this shit. So it's crazy good. If you guys have not seen Straight Outta Compton, it was definitely it didn't make my top 10 last year, but it was definitely one of those ones that stuck with me. It was a great theater experience. Like I said, well acted, well written. It was well edited and put together. A lot of people had a problem with like the last like 20, 30 minutes. Didn't have a problem with it. I thought it flowed very, very well, and it flies by. For a movie that's 2.5 hours, 220 or whatever, even with the director's cut, it flies by because you're so invested in these characters and just how everything unfolds. And if you don't know anything about NWA, I'm not going to spoil anything, and just watch it and see some of the things that happen to some of these people and stuff. But you guys know of one member of the NWA. It's Ice Cube. He's everywhere nowadays, but it's just really fascinating to see where they kind of grew up and stuff. And the only problem I have with it is that I kind of wish they would show some more of the some of the stuff that got them in trouble. Because Dr. Dre was a known abuser towards women, and I'm sure they left out some more stuff. But hey, that's what happens when Ice Cube and Dr. Dre produce the movie. They've got final say in terms of what goes into the movie. So I kind of wish they would have shot more of the controversial stuff. But for the most part, I think it's a pretty well-rounded biopic for someone that's never heard of NWA, and I think it's a nice introduction to that. And most of their hit songs are in there, so I think this is a nice gateway into people that want to listen to that group. So Straight Outta Compton, guys, it's a damn good one. So Brian, tell me about your theater experience with Straight Outta Compton and just what you thought about it overall.
I loved it. I thought it was excellent. I wanted to see it when it came out. I wanted to see it when it came out. I saw it opening day, loved it. It was one of my favorite films of the year. Originally, it was my number 10, then it moved up to my number 6 because of the consecutive rewatch value I had. I watched this movie 4 times within the course of 1 week because it's so engaging, in my opinion. Yeah, like you said, for let's see, the theatrical version is 2 hours and 27 minutes, and the director's cut is 20 minutes longer. So that's the director's cut's almost 3 hours long. So like you said, it flies by. And yes, there should have been some things that should have been added, but I didn't mind it because I loved everything from beginning to end. You brought up the scope of it, of how the ride scene alone, just that scene just stole it. And yes, a lot of people complain about the last 20 minutes. I love the last 20 minutes. Yes, it may be different from what the first 2 acts have been, but the emotional core that was in the last 2 acts really struck me, and that's kind of why I loved it so much. I was really upset that this film didn't get a Best Picture nomination, but I'm glad that it got recognition for its excellent screenplay. And as someone who doesn't really care for hip hop, yes, I'm an 18-year-old, and everyone would automatically assume that because I'm that age, I would care about this stuff. I personally don't, but NWA is an exception, and this movie really I couldn't stop thinking about it. And all the performances were great. I thought Jason Mitchell should have been nominated for something, because he was so good as Eazy-E. And Ice Cube's kid did such a good job playing his father. I was very worried going in, but he did a very good job. And yeah, you said everything. I love it. It's great. Everything just worked perfectly. I can't wait to see what F. Gary Gray does with Fast and Furious 8. And yeah, that's it. Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, 2 things. One, I was hesitant when Ice Cube casted his son. I was like, oh, God, this is nepotism, just like Will Smith all over again. I don't want to deal with this shit. But believe it or not, he was one of the best parts about the movie. Second to Eazy-E, Jason Mitchell, especially the end scene. The ending scene with his character. I'm not going to say what happens to him if you don't know about what happens to the real people in the band or whatever. It was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to watch and stuff. And it's just like, dude, these kids were young. They were stupid. And just when they made mistakes and stuff, you could just really see it in their face that they knew that they fucked up, and they just couldn't handle it. And it was just kind of heartbreaking to watch. But yeah, if you guys have not seen Straight Outta Compton, go see it. Jason Mitchell should have been nominated for supporting. Him and Jason Segel from the end of the tour were 2 of my front runners for supporting actor for the Oscars for last year. But whatever. We know that they were good, so that's the only thing that matters. So,
and bye, Felicia.
Yes. Yes, I remember that in the movie, and everyone in my audience was howling with laughter because that is a phrase that the kids use nowadays. I haven't been in high school for almost 10 years. All right, so let's move on to the number 2. Brian, take it away.
Oh, crap. I forgot to put on something that symbolizes this person. Shit. It was something perfect. Excuse me while I go, hype this up.
Oh, my God. It better be, the best pick in the world. For all you guys listening on the audio-only portion, Brian has left his spot. He has quit. April Fools, no, he has not. But he is going to pick out something to represent his number 2 pick. I have no idea what it is. It could be a giant dildo. It could be a rat. It could be a baseball card. I have no idea what's about to come. And
A rat. Okay. All right.
what? What are you saying that because you're from Jersey and like you guys got fucking rats everywhere?
We do have rats everywhere, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be a rat. And I don't know why a dildo would be brought up. We don't use those things here in Jersey. At least I don't know that. No. Okay. Fine. My number 2.
Jersey.
My number 2 goes to Ray, and the reason why I'm wearing these sunglasses is because he was blind. And listen, I all respect to the blind people like him and Stevie Wonder.
Whoa! That was the biggest Freudian slip I've ever seen Brian do on this show. He needs to own up to that. He's gonna get so much shit for that.
I mean, listen. Yeah, my number 2 is Ray. Fantastic. Jamie Foxx won the Oscar for this, easily combined with this and Collateral, the best performances I've seen from him, and also including his performance from Django. I'm a massive Jamie Foxx fan. The reason why I'm wearing these sunglasses, like I said, he plays a blind guy, and he played the blind guy perfectly well. The scenes where you don't see him with his glasses, it's kind of interesting because like his eyes don't blink. He kind of had like an Al Pacino from Scent of a Woman vibe where he didn't like blink, and I don't know how, but he did it perfectly well, and that's kind of why he won the Oscar for Ray. The interesting thing is this is also another biopic like about drug type of thing because Ray Charles was just a normal human being who wanted to perform music and stuff. Then he got into the drug life. He kept using drugs. His wife was played by Kerry Washington, who he later married in Django. That's another funny thing. And the whole biopic is just an engaging story. It's mainly engaging for Jamie Foxx because no one else could have played this role as well as Jamie Foxx. Originally, Denzel was in talks to play this role. Now, here's the thing. I have not seen Denzel sing, so I don't know if he could pull off a role like this. I'm sure he would have done something very well with it, but I don't know if he could have had as much charisma as Jamie Foxx because we know Jamie Foxx is also a very well-regarded musician. Like Jamie, make another album. I love your music. Make more music. But anyway, it's a well-done biopic. It was nominated for a lot of Oscars, but like I said, Jamie Foxx won nearly every Best Actor award that year, and that was a tight Best Actor race that year. Yeah, Leo for the Aviator, Johnny Depp Finding Neverland, Don Cheadle Hotel Rwanda. I think Jim Carrey was not nominated for the Oscar, but that was a big one for Eternal Sunshine. Clint Eastwood, $1 Million Baby, who should have been replaced with Jim Carrey, and who's the other one? Oh, and Don Cheadle. That's right. Yeah, but it was a pretty stacked race that year, and Jamie Foxx rightfully deserved the award. But Ray is a very well done movie, and sometimes the way he talks and stuff, like he's saying, I want to imitate him so badly, but I can't because I feel like I'm going to be rude. He would always say, "I ain't goddamn going to leave my family." I'm like, first of all, that sentence doesn't make any sense. I ain't goddamn going to leave my family. It's I ain't going to leave my goddamn family. Whoever wrote the script, grammar check, please. But still a great script. Oh yes, Ray's my number 2. And also, like, he would always move around so fast like this. Like, he would have his mouth open really wide, like there's a dick going into his mouth. I don't know why, but I guess as a blind man, that's what he would do. So I can't blame him. I guess that's how the real Ray Charles act. Yeah, Ray's my number 2. Fantastic film. Check it out. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and check it out.
Yeah, I'm looking up the awards that year, and take Clint Eastwood out and put Jim Carrey in for Eternal Sunshine because that movie got robbed. Because the only thing it was nominated for was Best Actress for Kate Winslet and Best Original Screenplay, and it won Screenplay, which is great. But moving on to Ray, I didn't see Ray. To be honest with you, the only Best Picture nominees I saw in 2004 was $1 Million Baby. I didn't see Ray, Sideways, Finding Neverland, or The Aviator. So, yeah,
Ooh,
I'm not a true movie fan. I'm just I'm a poser. So, I've heard Ray was really good and stuff, and I heard it was one of those like career performances for Jamie Foxx, and I'll have to check it out one day. But it's not my wheelhouse right now. But I've heard really great things, so I'll check it out. So. My number 2 suggestion, this is not a biopic because it is a different character, but we're not idiots because I know for a damn fact this is based on Eminem's life. I'm going with 8 Mile. Now, I looked it up. It is not a biopic. It is based on his life, but I think we can safely assume that when you watch that movie and you want to know more about Marshall Mathers' life, it's kind of like, I'm pretty sure like that's a good indication of what it was probably like. But 8 Mile is it's really good. Like this is that movie where I was like, holy shit, Eminem can act. And all those roles that were supposed to go to him in the past 5 years with like Elysium and Southpaw, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have minded. Like he's actually fine with me, and I like his music and stuff. And my favorite part in 8 Mile, hands down, is the battle scenes in the underground rap battles, and he faces Anthony Mackie in one of them, and it's like one of the best like dishes served cold ever. He's just like, "Yo, bitch, step the fuck back." Like it's, I mean, obviously because I'm super gangster, I need to calm down, but no, it's really good. It's well written, it's well acted. Shit, I mean, say what you want about the late Brittany Murphy. I liked her in this. I really did. Before she passed, like I only saw like I think three of her movies, and this is by far one of my favorite ones she's ever done. But I loved Eminem's character in the movie. You could feel the struggle to where he lived and to where he worked and to what his dreams actually were. And every time he did an underground rap battle and Mekhi Phifer was behind him spinning that shit, it's just a really exciting movie. So yeah, Brian, what do you have to say about 8 Mile?
B-Rabbit, Future, and Papa Doc. Very good film. Excellent film. I was very surprised when I first saw this film as well. I'm like, Eminem, I don't know. But I honestly, there could have been an argument made that he could have been nominated for Best Actor. I mean, yeah, he won Original Song, which is great. Eminem is an Oscar winner. But, I mean, he never took that into credit because he never did any other movies after this, which is upsetting in my opinion. Yeah, I remember hearing that the role in Southpaw, Jake Gyllenhaal's role, was originally written for Eminem. I would have liked to have seen that, but Jake Gyllenhaal, can't go wrong with him. No, this is a very well-made movie. It's directed by Curtis Hanson. You know, he made one of my favorite films ever, L.A. Confidential. So right there, that's automatically saying something. So I think in this film, while it may not be considered a biopic, like you said, I think we can all agree that it is a biopic in its own way. And I think it is something that really deserved a little more award buzz, in my opinion. And because Eminem was so good in it, I really think he should have been nominated for Best Actor. And also the sad thing is, when he won the Oscar, he wasn't even there to accept the speech. I remember not too long ago, I was watching the acceptance award. I don't remember who accepted it for him. I think it was the other people who wrote the song. He wasn't the only person who wrote it. Lose Yourself. And yeah, the underground rap battle sequences are like fantastic. It feels like you're in like a blockbuster movie where it's like the big climactic fight, and the underground rap battle sequences, they're pretty memorable in their own way. Yeah, 8 Mile is fantastic. I think if it would have been considered the biopic, I would definitely have put it on the list. Like if it was actually labeled as a true biopic, I would have put it on the list in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's what's really fascinating about this one is all the ones I've either heard about or the two that I've seen. This is definitely like the dirtiest and grittiest one. Like this is a guy that's like in the I forgot where it's set at, but he's like in the worst part of town, and it's just really dirty and like just there's fucking gang violence happening everywhere. Like and it kind of puts you in that situation.
He's in Detroit.
Yeah. Okay. So Detroit. So you feel like you're there. You feel like you're in this situation with him, and you just it makes you root for the character even more. So, yeah, it's definitely one of the dirtiest and grittiest biopics I've seen in terms of that. But yeah, I'm looking at the nominations. It was only nominated for original song, which is incredible. And believe it or not, it was competing the same year against Chicago, which won the Best Picture. I don't agree with, but I didn't see Chicago, but I'm a little biased because I like Gangs of New York and Lord of the Rings 2 Towers more. But yeah, I think it should have been nominated for at least, if not him, maybe supporting actress or something. Or I don't know, just something like yeah. Because I mean, yeah, Lose Yourself is a great song, but I just wish it got recognized even more. So Yeah, that's my number 2 suggestion. So, Brian, what is your number 1? I'm assuming.
Is Walk the Line.
Yep, there you go.
Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash movie. Joaquin Phoenix, definitely one of his best performances. I would have actually been very happy if this was the first time he won an Oscar. He was nominated before for Gladiator, which is a great and probably underrated performance, but this was the performance where we all realized, hey, Joaquin Phoenix can actually sing. Not only he actually sounded like Johnny Cash. I remember watching someone's video by saying they made someone listen to the Walk the Line soundtrack, not knowing that it was the Walk the Line soundtrack, and the guy honestly thought that it was Johnny Cash singing. So that's saying something. Joaquin Phoenix played a very good Johnny Cash, but honestly, while he may be the lead, the best thing about this movie is simply Reese Witherspoon as June Carter. Reese Witherspoon, I'm a big fan of her. So when I found out that she won an Oscar, I'm like, I have to see the film that she won the Oscar for because, you know, I know her for like her comedies, like The Election, The Legally Blondes and stuff. But I wanted to see what she could do in a movie like this, and she nailed it perfectly well. She won pretty much every other award for this. It's like the Jamie Foxx thing. She won like everything for this film, and it's very well deserved. And that wasn't really a competitive year for actresses, I remember, but Reese Witherspoon killed it here. There's a lot of heartbreaking scenes involving her and Johnny. And, yeah, them singing together, it was something special. I felt like I was actually watching like a real concert of Johnny Cash and June Carter. Like, it was something that just felt so real. And the story is excellent in its own right. And Robert Patrick plays Johnny Cash's father. Not the biggest a-hole Robert Patrick has ever played, but it's a nicer character than his character from T2. So, I mean, that's kind of saying something. But, yeah, Walk the Line is a very well done movie. It's directed by James Mangold. He's done so many movies. I can't think of any. I can't think of any. I know he did the Wolverine. That's the only thing I can think of right now. And he's doing the upcoming Wolverine film. But no, it's a well-done film. Walk the Line, fantastic. Yeah, it's in my opinion the best music biopic ever made. And if people want to say Ray is, I wouldn't argue because that's why I put Ray in my number 2. I love the top 3 films so much that Walk the Line I just think means something special to me more because of the 2 lead performances. Them two make this movie. If they didn't play these 2 characters, it just wouldn't be the same. Walk the Line is terrific. It's fantastic. I really do love it.
Just to answer your question, James Mangold has done Identity with John Cusack, which is a really cool little thriller. Walk the Line, he did the 3:10 to Yuma remake, which is a really good one. He did Night and Day, and then he did the Wolverine, which is a pretty good one in my opinion. So yeah, he's done a lot. But yeah, I was looking at that year of the Academy Awards. Listen, as much as I love Joaquin Phoenix, he got slaughtered by Philip Seymour Hoffman with Capote. I didn't see Capote, but you know
that's a very good performance. That's that you can really argue against that performance. That was a very good performance.
Every performance that Joaquin Phoenix has done, he has delivered. But the one, regardless of what you think the movie, the best performance he has ever given is The Master.
I think I might actually agree with you. While Walk the Line might be the most watchable performance that he's ever done, The Master is the most kind of haunting performance that he's ever done and probably the most real performance. And that's not even a real person. That's a fictional character. The thing with Walk the Line is that it's a real person. And he nailed Johnny Cash perfectly, but the character he played in The Master was something different. Particularly that jail room scene. That scene alone, you're like, damn. Joaquin is something pretty dope. And then he did Her and Hair Advice. The guy's a pretty fucking good actor. And I'm shocked that he doesn't have an Oscar. I'm honestly shocked. But he'll get it in the future. I know for a fact that he's going to be a future Oscar winner.
2005 was a weird year. Like, every single big award in the top 6, all different movies. Best Picture, Crash. Best Director, Brokeback Mountain. Best Actor, Capote. Best Actress, Walk the Line. Best Supporting Actor, Serena with George Clooney. And supporting actress, The Constant Gardener. So it's like every single big 6 award it was a different movie. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, just looking at the best actor category, even because I didn't see Walk the Line, I didn't see Capote. or Good Night and Good Luck, or Hustle and Flow. So the only one I have seen is Brokeback Mountain, and Heath Ledger does a pretty good job. But I mean, out of all the ones, I think Joaquin Phoenix got slayed that year. But Brian's right. Looking at the Best Actress category, Keira Knightley for Pride and Prejudice, Charlize Theron for North Country, Judi Dench for the nude old women movie Mrs. Henderson Presents, and Felicity Huffman Transamerica. What a weird list.
Yeah, not too competitive. Not too competitive. Although, if the Academy was going to go for a transgender performance, they probably should have given it to Felicity Huffman, but thankfully they didn't give it to the one that was nominated this year, but that's a different story.
Yeah, but yeah, 2005 was just a weird year. It was kind of just all over the place. But
no, wait, what was nominated for Best Picture that year? Well, yeah, Crash won and Brokeback should have won, but that's a different story as well. That was actually a pretty mediocre year for the Oscars.
Brokeback Mountain, Munich, Good Night and Good Luck, and Capote.
All four of those films should have beaten fucking Crash. Like,
I don't mind Crash. I realize that it's like overly like hits you in the head with racism. But I like it. It's enjoyable. But yeah, Brokeback Mountain is definitely that or Munich. Munich's pretty good too.
Munich's good too.
I wouldn't have chosen either one. So all right, so let's move on to our number ones. Brian already did his number one. What am I talking about? We keep going off on tangents. I'm trying to draw this episode out, but I think it's about time to close this bad boy with my kind of mini review of Born to Be Blue, the Ethan Hawke, Chet Baker movie that I saw at South by Southwest, and that and Straight Outta Compton are the only musical biopics I have ever seen. So this focuses on Chet Baker's kind of resurgence in his career after he got his teeth knocked out, and he tried to just pretty much reclaim his throne in the jazz world. And I got to be honest with you. If Best Actor is kind of scarce this year at the Oscars, I think Ethan Hawke should slip in there. Like, he's that good. Like, there's a couple scenes in the movie where I'm like, hot damn, Ethan Hawke is bringing his A game. So it's really well shot. It focuses in the late 60s, I believe, 70s, kind of like in that era. I love the kind of glow it has to it. I love the production design. The acting is outstanding from Ethan Hawke. The music's really good too and really haunting, especially at the very end. It's just, it's got one of the best like openings and endings to a movie I've seen in quite some time. So, Brian, do you have any questions for me in terms of Born to Be Blue? Because
not necessarily. It's playing at you're 15 miles away from me. I don't know if I have to see it in the theater. I'm willing to see when it comes out, but I'll always support my boy Ethan Hawke. But it sounds good. I remember watching the trailer. It looked very good, and it just came out in limited release last week. I remember. So it's a lot of music biopics this year. I told you this, like, you have this, you got Miles Ahead, and then you got the critically panned Hank Williams biopic with Tom Hiddleston. So, I mean, this is a very interesting year for music biopics.
Yeah, but listen, if you guys are interested in jazz or Ethan Hawke, I'd say check it out. I gave it like a B+. I think it's a very solid movie for sure. The middle of the movie is kind of slowed down a little bit. It's kind of, just painted by the numbers. But like I said, the opening and the ending are so good, I'm willing to put it up to a B+. And Ethan Hawke's performance is just outstanding. So Born to Be Blue would be my number one suggestion because I just saw it, so it's fresh in my mind. So if you guys are curious about it or you want to see it, please just trust me. I think you'll really enjoy it. Born to Be Blue, Ethan Hawke, Chet Baker. It is a solid hit. So let's move on to the honorable mentions. Brian's going to take this over because I already gave you all mine. So, Brian, what is it for you? What barely escaped your list?
I only have two honorable mentions. Selena with J-Lo at her prime, easily J-Lo's best performance, competing with Out of Sight, and The Doors, Oliver Stone, Val Kilmer, pretty great film. Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison, pretty good film. Not the greatest, but Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison, mind blowing. Just very good film.
Out of those two, I probably want to check out The Doors because I like Oliver Stone sometimes. So why not? All right, so let's get into the dishonorable mentions. Was Brian said he had one of them. So what is it?
My least favorite music biopic is La Bamba. I never really cared for this one.
Okay, so my friend Patrick, he doesn't even listen to the show, so I'll blast him out on the internet right now. All right, so he's a really talented artist. You should check him out online. He will be something one day if he just gets off his ass and does it. But with that being said, he's been telling me to watch. I'm not even joking. I've known Patrick since 2009. It is 2016, so 7 years. This guy's been telling me to watch La Bamba, and I tell him I get around to it, but I never do. I never will. He likes La Bamba, so he's like, "You need to watch La Bamba." Hey, I'll get around to it. I told him that like when we like get old and we retire, it's probably when I'll watch it like, right on my deathbed, and I'll probably die like right afterwards. I'll have it like on my grave, like I finally watched it or something. But my friend Patrick's been telling me to watch La Bamba for 7 years now, and now Brian says it's one of the worst.
It's not terrible. It's just my least favorite one. It's not terrible. It's just I haven't seen any bad music biopics yet.
So how is Lou Diamond Phillips?
He's great. I love that guy. I think that guy's great. Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver. And that's all I've seen him in. Sadly. Okay. So, I've seen him in more stuff, but that's all I could think of as of right now. Stand and Deliver and La Bamba. La Bamba is just, it's not that well done in my opinion. It's okay. It's just, it's not as like engaging as the 5 films I put on my list and the other 2 films I mentioned in my honorable mentions. So I mean, that's why it's nothing special to me, but to your friend Patrick, I'm sorry, man, but this isn't a film that I like the way you do. Sorry.
Don't worry, he doesn't even listen to this. All right, he doesn't even know that I do this. All right, so yeah, I'm about to tell him that you just didn't really care for it. All right, so that is it for our musical biopics. Here's the list. It's pretty scarce this week. As you can tell, mine are not numbered because they're suggestions. But yeah, out of the ones that Brian suggested, I definitely want to check out Ray and Walk the Line. And out of the 2 that are a lot older, I want to check out the Buddy Holly story. I kind of want to see Gary Busey when he was actually real. So, and he wasn't like a caricature. So, yeah, that will do it for a musical biopic. So I want to ask you guys that. What is your favorite musical biopic? And give me suggestions, please. Like, that's the whole point of this episode. I know I drew it out as long as possible. I wanted to give you guys a full episode, but I haven't seen that much. And by much, I've only seen 2 of them. So give me suggestions. What is some of your favorite? What are some of your least favorite? Comment in the place to rub on my face and let me know. All right. Brian, what are we doing next week?
Next week, in honor of the movie Demolition, we are honoring the film star Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, yes. This is going to be a great one. Will Bubble Boy be on my list? It might be. You guys remember that movie? All right, so yeah, we're going to do Jake Gyllenhaal next week. I'm really excited. He's done a lot of great ones in the past, and he's kind of had this resurgence starting in 2013 with Prisoners and stuff. So it's just, he's on a roll, man, and he's just one of the best. I have seen Demolition. If you want to check out my review on that, just go on my YouTube channel. It was one of my South by Southwest picks. I gave it a pretty high grade, so I would suggest to you and to Brian, go see Demolition. It's just another. His performance is fine, but the movie is very good. Like, his performance is whatever. But
actually, I've heard the opposite. I've heard his performance is very good, but the film is whatever.
No, I actually disagree. Like, because when you watch movies like Nightcrawler, Southpaw, Prisoners, Enemy, those are great performances with great movies. His performance is good. It's fine. It's solid. But I do like the movie around it because it's different. It takes a different approach to grief. And it has more of like a darkly comedic route with like really hard themes in there, but it didn't seem forced or anything. So it kind of blended very well together. That's why I liked it a lot. So it was a different approach on loss and grief and stuff. So I enjoyed it quite a bit. So Jakey G is next week. I cannot wait for that. So yeah, Brian, where can the peeps find you online?
Twitter, BrianSuts98, and on YouTube at Brian Sutfield.
All right, so yeah, go follow him, guys, and go subscribe to him. He's almost at that 300 mark on YouTube, so go help a brother out. All right, so if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Real Chase Lee, and YouTube, you can subscribe just right there. And if you're listening on Spreaker, that link will be in the description below. And that will do it for this week's episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live over musical biopics. That kind of scarce episode. There was no water on this episode. We were trying to pump the earth to find it out of all the suggestions I had because I haven't seen anything. So, but hey, listen, that just shows you that even movie buffs cannot see everything. So I will have to definitely get on that at some point. So, yeah, Top 5 Saturdays Live, and we'll see you guys next week for a Top 5 Jake Gyllenhaal films. So tune in next week for that episode. I'm Chase Lee.
I'm Brian Suffield.
That's fucking right. See you guys next week. It's going to get crazy, like Nightcrawler crazy. Let's play the outro music done by my friends band Fervent Roze. Check them out in the link in the description below. Peace out, everyone. Musical biopics. What was that, Brian?
Steady hands.
Oh, so steady hands, steady hands. And, I'm sure we'll be quoting a lot of his movies next week. See you guys later. Oh, yeah. Boom.